What's good with you today?
Man, everything, man. First and foremost, we alive. You know what I mean? Preparing for the future of finance. And then we got a lot of updates going on, man. So I'm feeling amazing right now.
Hey guys, just understand it's our first time doing this live, so this is just a test run right here, but we could drop a little bit of knowledge. Um,
Okay.
all right, so what we got? So today we had a couple of we had a big XRP announcement.
Yeah.
The Department of Justice just dismantled the crypto task force.
Huge.
What are you seeing? Hey,
So,
listen, for everybody that's on here, just let us know if you could hear us good. 1 2 1 2.
yep. 1 2 1 2. Y'all let us know
How's
when it's
Champ sound? Let's put a thumbs up if you can hear us. All right, cool. They good. All right, so listen, guys. So listen, when you guys get a chance, head over to my page, marketing underscore guru on IG, and just check out the posts in my stories and reels from today to kind of give you perspective on just what's happening. Address the tariffs yesterday. We have a 10-minute segment on playlists right here on YouTube where we're shooting just all content in 10 minutes or less. We find that it's a little bit more we could deep dive a little bit better and not have to, you know, be limited to like the minute and 30 seconds or the 3 minutes on IG. So we give a lot more context. So if you guys get a chance, there's a bunch of good videos on there, but we just covered the tariffs. I kind of feel like there's a lot of old financial guys or like old math, like they're still using abacus to calculate. So we're just moving into a new age now, right? So I like to tell the story of Elon Musk where he was, when he created Tesla and he met with this one investor and the guy was like, yeah, I could tell, big investor in the automotive industry. He was like, yeah, I could tell you why you're going to fail. Right. This was early on. And he was like, all right, why? And the guy's like, because everyone who builds cars, there's a parts is like the way that car makers make money. They don't really, by the time they sell you the car, there's not a whole lot of money to be made, right? Because the dealership has to buy it at a cost, then the salesman gets paid. And then by the time you get the car, where's the rest of the expenses? It really is in the parts. So the automotive industry is built on aftermarket car parts, and then that ties to labor and all sorts of stuff, right? Mechanics, and this is where we're at today. So when you get a guy who is a visionary, and listen, I'm not a fan of this guy. I'm just giving you the story of to keep this all in perspective, right? In context. When you get a guy that can create a vehicle and not follow the old model, right? He's not using the abacus. You get now innovation. So when that guy states that, well, you have no car parts, he just didn't have enough information, right? He probably should have did some research first. So when you look at it, the car is nothing more than a big data aggregator at the end of the day. So it's collecting data in real time. Just think about all the connection points it could have, right? With your digital wallet, any sort of footprints, the way that it can read lights and traffic and parking in the future. Like you can literally tap these cars or any electric cars, not just Teslas, would be tapped into this entire smart city ecosystem. So now we're looking further out into the future. I'm not a fan of electric. What can be cut on could be cut off, and all the things that come along with it. So be responsible if you're going to operate in that electric world in the future. I'll be offline. I wanted to share something with you guys right now, kind of give you a perspective on the time. So right now we just entered um, a time in history where it's only occurred. It only occurs about 106 every 165 years. So we just entered it March 20th. All right. So this is when Neptune enters Aries. So if you're not big on astrology, I'm just telling you that there's a lot of truth and cadence to this, and you can validate all this stuff. It's happened before and it's happening now. So March 30th, and we're in this. I want to say for the next 13, 14 years, we're going to be in this astrological shift, right? So during these times, you have a big spiritual, societal, and energetic um, implementation. That just happens, right? So um, Neptune moves real slow, so that's why it's spending so much time in there. All right. So some of the general vibes is it's kind of the blending of dreams and action. So Neptune's is dreams, illusions, higher consciousness. And then Aries is fire, drive, and courage. So now you got those two clashing together. All right. Spiritual goes into like bold and unapologetic. All right. People act on their visions, not just their dreams. Okay. It could spark a spiritual activation. People moving with conviction towards collective ideals. So this is where we're at. This is where I'm at. Right. That dream of having a piece of property on a beach, um, just peaceful, serene. I'm just making it happen now. Right. That's speaking of the property in Colombia that we're looking at to take down, starting a resort. So that's the activation part. It just sprung on me. Once we visited the country, we did about 9 days out there. I was just like, this is it. Came back and just something just clicked. It wasn't even immediately when I was there. It was when I came back and I was like, if not now, then when? So that's part of that shift. When we're talking about March 30th, this is when the shift happened. All right. So you'll see a rise in like spiritual warriors. You're also going to see a rise in like tyrants. So there's going to be two sides to it. So there's going to be a lot of new leadership, um, new forms of leadership, right? So Aries rules leadership. Expect new leaders who are visionaries, possibly idealistic, right? This is what you're seeing right now. This is what I'm seeing. Charismatic, emotionally driven. There could be a surge in that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the academy's kind of built on, from what I hear about the students. I'm not this. This isn't me just saying it, about myself. Identity, illusion, and awakening. So Aries rules identity. Neptune blurs boundaries. So now we have no boundaries, guys. Anything that we want, we can have. So this may challenge like fixed ideas that are out there. Okay. Um, Similar to Bitcoin, right? Everybody has this fixed idea about Bitcoin, and the people who don't know, you're kind of being duped, right? To think that someone would set up something that would just liberate people financially. Like, come on, man. We know that. Listen, I'll be honest. This crypto situation, Champ and I have been watching it for 10 years. And the same way that Dr. King could say, listen, I led my people into a burning building. In essence, I could say the same thing. Because I've always said, if I had a power, I'd just cut all this, I'd just pull the plug out, the socket. Because I know, based on whoever is going to hold the power to this, the end goal really is CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. That's the end goal. All right, is to tie everybody to a digital ID. They can watch your footprint. They can make you move when they want you to move. They can make you sit down when they want you to sit down. Like, this is going to be the future of this technology. This is why I urge you guys to, like, at least, right, take a look at it and understand what's going to happen, even if you don't want to believe it. The way that we lay out the information, it just is what it is. Is if you're a logical person and you're open to new information, then you'll be fine. But if you're cut off to like just thinking that, oh, whatever, you'll be okay too, because everybody's going to deserve exactly what they put in at the end of the day. All right, so I'm not here to judge anybody. If that's what you want to do and kind of ignore AI, automation, and watch the world change in front of you, no problem. Have at it. But I can tell you that there's other countries, China, setting up their youth properly, right? The United States is not investing in their youth. That's why I don't see a future in this country at all, right? These guys at the top, these boomers, they just want to hold on to this power and this money for as long as possible. All right. So you have an illusion of power, and then you have egos crashing all at the same time during this time. All right. Some will chase false ideals and self glorification, right? Neptune can distort egos. So if you haven't like kind of suppressed that ego, this may not be a good time for you in these times. So when you start listening to these guys online, that men and women talking about their personal portfolios and Trump is blowing it up and they hate Trump, it's like, that's kind of from a place of ego, because if you know that you invest, you know what goes up must come down and then will go up again. So there's never been a time in history that the stock market hasn't crashed more than 20%. It never gained back what it took out and then went parabolic after that. You understand? I'm not in agreement with all of this stuff because I know the short term, even the long term pain that it's going to affect on people. But again, we keep urging to the culture that you have to upskill yourself. This is the only way out, guys. I mean, if you're just sitting here and you're just working for somebody, you're making ends meet and you hate life and you don't have time to put into understanding emerging tech. Actually, before I even go there, just ask yourself this question. And I was just, my friend just asked me this the other day when I was on the call with him, and it was so profound. So I'm just running with it now. If you didn't have to do anything for money, what would you do? And I've been sitting with that since he asked me that. And then I've been asking other people, and I'm like, once you start to find the answers, like the way that you answer it, that's kind of like your calling, right? Because I listen, with all the money in the world, I would not get on YouTube and be doing this at 349. I promise you that. I would not be creating another crypto or AI course. I will not be teaching the culture shit. I just wouldn't. I'm just being honest with you.
That's a fact.
It
Yeah.
would not be what I would do. But this is one of my callings. So just that, this is part of that warrior spirit in me. And it was just one of those, like, this is really set up just to teach the culture or anybody that wants to listen financial independence, right? The last administration, it was hell on us. We couldn't sell water in the desert. It was impossible to get people to listen. Now that these guys are in here with these suits, telling you Bitcoin this and Bitcoin that, I'm okay with it, right? Because we waited for this day. I just thought it would have been a lot more of us on this side that were in early position, understanding how it works. All we're doing at the academy is we're showing people how to find a back door, right? That's it. That's our only job, is figure out how to find a back door. And if one or two of us are inside the room, champ, go upstairs, open the window. All right, I'm gonna open the back door, and then we'll just find ways to just let people in. This is what our counterparts do. They share information amongst each other. They execute on the information, and it's a good old boys club. We sit back, they leave us with the emotions of hating billionaires, but wanting to achieve it and attain it, not believing in self because of affirmative action and DEI, thinking that they need to put protocols in place to make things fair for us. I get it. But at this point, guys, I'm not marching. I'm not praying. I'm not doing none of the stuff of Christmas past that our former leaders did. And I'm not taking nothing away from them. But again, Dr. King on his way out said, I led my people into a burning building. It was playing him the whole entire time. Yeah. The revolution is financial. So I run with another saying, it's not personal, it's just profitable. That's it. Once you start to simplify things and you start to realize that this place is not a country, just more of a corporation, you'll start to see the business of America. And then once you realize how to play that game, you stop being the product of America at that point now. That's it. That's what the academy's about. Nothing more, nothing less. We just have conversations that other people won't have. I don't want to talk about stocks and bonds and things like that, but yeah, we kind of throw it out there. But what I'm telling you is there's a new piece of technology that's going to lay on top of the internet. That's where we're at right now. And then when you start to look at that layer and you start to see how it makes things more efficient, when you start to see how it dismantles the gatekeepers, right? I can play in a game like that because that was the basis that I entered cryptocurrency. When I found out about this 10 years ago, the first thing I said, if they can pull this off, this is a game changer for us. We would all have access to financial products. So this is what's happening. If you didn't watch the 10-minute situation, I broke down what a bond was, what a yield was, why Trump is doing this tariff situation. Either way, whether it was Biden, Kamala, Obama, it doesn't matter. Anybody that inherits this dollar where it's at, based on historical fact that currency only lasts but so long, we're at the expiration point right now. Yep. So there's either going to be a sitting president that's going to do what Trump does, or you'll have another guy that kicks the can down the road until somebody has the balls enough to kind of like close the deficit up, kill this dollar, move everything digital. So here's the play. They're going to, they created this thing called bid bonds. They're going to start to make digital versions of bonds. You'll be able to buy in the blockchain. It's going to open up a whole entirely new market. We can see the velocity of money. You guys invested in meme coins. I've seen things go up $50 million in a day that don't do shit. So imagine when you start to invest in real world assets that actually do things. This is where human labor, fourth industrial revolution, will do away with human labor. Forget about it. So for all these guys on these financial literacy platforms talking about, oh, there won't be any factories opening up in Toledo and Springfield, Ohio and all that, I heard you loud and clear. But there will be factories opening up in those places. They just won't need human labor. So why would we play second fiddle to China and their factories, right, that aren't even using Chinese labor anymore? Yeah. So the days of that $1 a day situation, the robot is way cheaper and more efficient than that. And then you don't have to worry about, just the human aspect of having to manage people. The robot runs 24/7. So you're telling me that America will not open these super data centers, these places for us to, I was just telling my wife just yesterday, like, it doesn't have to be the Apple phone, right? it's an American product, but it's not made here. What happens when they open a factory here and somebody makes a phone? We have all the access to everything to make these phones. At the end of the day, if we're the biggest consumers in the world, that means we control what goes out and what comes in. That's it. That's the one thing that these countries can't do. So even though you look at the both sides of the coin, the trade situation was set up way back in the day when these guys were going through Cold War trying to reconstruct their countries. But now when you look at everything, you're like, wait, China's they're the biggest export in the world. So why would the trade deal still be fair? They're no longer in rebuilding phases in the EU. They're no longer in rebuilding phases in Japan. So how come no sitting president has ever negotiated or renegotiated trade terms? So they can charge 500% on American goods to go out, right? We could allow American companies to go to those countries to then export stuff back into America so we can buy and they don't pay no taxes. This shit's dumb. So now that we have blockchain technology, we have tokenization of real world assets. Listen, we will all be able to invest in the things that we want to invest in. And when those guys start telling you that there's cryptocurrencies that are American made, trust me when I tell you they're going to put everything behind those companies to help them innovate. And that's what they're going to sell offshore. Yeah. You guys are dumb to think that they're talking about factories and you're looking at the old factory. Remember back to the Abacus situation. These ain't factories like miners in a digging for minerals and stuff like that. Yeah. These are automated factories. Like, why wouldn't America be a superpower in automation? Dummy. It doesn't require human labor. But what you do as a person is you can invest. If you have a cell phone and a couple of dollars, you'll start to invest as a citizen who can. They're not going to hold anything back. You don't have to be an institutional investor. You don't have to qualify and do all sorts of stuff. They are going to open up the floodgates to this. But the difference is it's still going to be the haves and the have-nots. Millionaires become multimillionaires. Multimillionaires become, hundreds, really multi, even into billionaires. Billionaires become the new trillionaires. You got 10,000, you could be worth 100,000. You got 100,000, you become the new millionaire. The verticals are just going to move. You start to remove the middleman and the friction from all facets of our life. You'll start to see prices come down. You start to invest properly. You'll start to see that digital portfolio increase. But there's still other things that we got to worry about. So at the Academy, we take you through A through Z. First thing we do when you first open the door is that we have a FOMO class, the fear of missing out. Everybody thinks they're too late because y'all keep watching Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a psyop. They didn't create this thing that nobody knows who the person is. And you're telling me that all these, the most conservative money managers in the world and governments are utilizing a technology that they know nothing about? Isn't that investing 101, champ? Know who you're investing in, know who the owner of the business is. So somehow Americans fell for that shit. There's nobody across the globe that's actually really investing in Bitcoin like that. We're out selling Bitcoin to the world. Right. So we're selling a product to benefit who? And then when you look at the strategy of all these ETFs and everything, they just buy this product that does nothing. It absolutely does nothing. I don't care what you Bitcoin maxi pad dudes say about, oh, it's this, it's that, and it's real, and it's all built on fake, right? Because the initial money that came into it was fiat money that was printed. So everything that's associated with it is an illusion. If we say it ain't Mercedes no more, it ain't Mercedes no more. Yeah. Ford F1 is the thing. That's the new thing. We put it in music videos. We make it culturally accepted. That's what people will buy. If it's not Bitcoin and we say, oh, it's Dogecoin, it's the same thing. They could put the same amount of money behind the same circulating supply and call it whatever. Yeah, I get it. There's no miners and things like that, but that mining shit is dumb. Yeah. Generates a lot of power for no reason. But because of that mining situation, that's what it takes something to make it. But what does it do? Nothing. And they have this wild notion. So you keep buying Bitcoin, right? And then you borrow against your portfolio to buy more Bitcoin. And then you get more of your friends to wrap product around it. And everybody's doing the same exact thing. At what point do you think that thing is going to continue to go up to what? It's a $9 million price, $100 million for one Bitcoin. Like what? Nobody's going to sell at that point. No one's going to kick the leg out from under this thing. It does nothing. They're only utilizing it up until the real financial products come in play, and systems connect. And at that point, there's no need for it. It really is only valued at, what do you think, champ?
Probably I would give it 8,000 max.
Damn, I'm giving it 20 at least.
Ooh. And the only reason I say eight is just because of the amount of marketing that has taken place. Some people who are just so disconnected, they just don't get out of the position. So I'm calling eight, but
I mean,
28.
it's not far off. I had a $10,000 buy that it never hit that. It got to 11, and for that, I never got a coin. But I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
But outside of that, we kind of know the numbers. We know how Bitcoin is being propped,
straight up
right? We know the manipulation that's going on with that asset. We know, and not even the manipulation in the back end to run the price up, the manipulation in just a common person's mind. Because if we say crypto, what's the first thing you think about? The common person.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Yep, first out the gate, first to be heavily marketed. So they treat it like Nike.
I'm not going to take nothing away from it, because if they didn't create that story, it's hard to really sell the industry. So it is the first one.
That's true.
But if I looked at every single emerging tech that's ever happened before, first in, first out.
Yep, every time. Smart man.
First in, first out. So I don't know what's going on in this chat, but guys, listen, we're trying this for the first time. We turned on some they got a tip bot. Somebody drop a tip. Let me just see what it looks like. I give it back to you. Like, but if you want a tip, this tip. I'm on these dudes' live streams, and I'm like, people dropping $5, people dropping whatever. And I'm like, but he didn't say anything of value.
Real talk.
So I said, champ, let's go on YouTube. We drop mad value. We don't even monetize it. So I'm like, I'm old. I'm like, this is the abacus to me. It took us a while to get the engine started. Remember back in the days you had to warm up a car?
Word.
That's what it felt like. It took us literally 9 minutes to figure this out. Champ fell off like 4 times.
Yo, this joint crazy, man. Kick me off. I said,
nobody's tipping.
So in the chat, but I could. So some people, how do you do that?
Here we go. Everybody got to warm their car. We got it. Oh, we got it.
Oh, we got one. Oh, okay.
We got 2. Oh, okay.
So that's dope. So
I like that. All that free work we give out.
That's dope.
Listen, the market is on sale right now.
100%.
The market is on sale. It's actually going to get worse. Just wait till the morning. Yep. They thought Monday, you thought they was mad on Monday. Wait till tomorrow.
Jobless minutes, FOMC.
Not even that. Not even that. The worst part is China, 104% tariff goes into effect at midnight. Y'all cooked. How much is the iPhone?
Oh, yo, right now.
No, I'm just asking. How much is the iPhone?
By itself is like $1,200.
Go out and buy iPhones right now. Straight up. Go sit on a couple $1,200 iPhones. It'll be $2,400 before you know it. The next wave that comes in off that ship is cooked.
It's real talk. Yep.
More tips. This is dope. This will make me want to talk all day. Yo, 99% of the shit we do, we don't even make money.
We don't monetize on it. Yeah.
It's just love.
Yep.
All right, it's cool. What you got, man?
So, I mean, you was killing it. I love the flow, but you was talking to them directly as you should have. What I'm starting to realize is the more I'm immersing myself in artificial intelligence. So, like, we teach this, right? We got the AI Visionaries Network. It's a free group. People from all communities, all markets, they all come in, they all contribute and tell how AI and artificial intelligence automation is impacting their industry. So I'm just doing more and more deep dives. So I'm super down the rabbit hole. And a couple things just stood out at me. One, AI is like growing rapidly in everything, right? Everything that's going on right now. All the big dogs in the past week have been releasing new products. The new products are large. Basically, it's a new app or a new platform or a new update to something that's existing. They've given it a new name, and what's happening is people are able to utilize it, and now they're discovering true power at their fingertips. You're able to prompt, you're able to type, you're able to do everything that you need to do.
You got some feedback.
You getting feedback? That's weird.
No, that's what somebody put in the chat. I didn't mean to cut you off though.
Nah, you good. Is that better? That's weird. I can now hear it a little bit.
Echo.
Yeah, it's a little echo. 1 2 1 2. Yeah, hear it.
Do I split the money with Champ or do I keep it all?
Nah, keep it, man.
Nah, I'm messing with you.
You was rocking that joint. I hate that this joint is echoing.
Champ, you better get a new iPhone before that joint $2,400.
Yo, this joint is about to be 25. I can see it clear as day.
iPhone gonna be the price of gold. 1 ounce of gold.
That joint is wild though. Think about it, because you was just killing it about the factories and stuff being built here. Right now, we're outsourcing all of the labor to create the iPhones. Right, a whole bunch of different products that go inside of the iPhone are from other countries, so we have to import it in. So it's like, shit, they could do this easily, but they easily can have robots the same way China is doing this, the same way Hong Kong is doing. They're creating these warehouses actually automated in human-like humanoid robots that are doing everything that we can do. But here's the context: they don't fall out sick, they don't need a break, they don't have to take a lunch break, they don't take a 15-minute break. They're just constantly producing, becoming more and more efficient. So, like, if you're leveraging this technology to improve yourself, your skill, and then use it for your vertical, you doomed. It's like those same remedial tasks. We always say that all the time. Same remedial tasks, they're gonna replace you like that. And it's like no fear, gloom and doom. But this is real reality. They're actually doing this. Amazon is actually doing this. They're cutting the workforce, the actual people, and they're bringing in these humanoids. So the more that they keep doing this, who does that put in limbo? The 9 to 5 worker, collar worker. That's work.
Yo, you still got the echo. We gotta figure that out.
I think it's coming the back. The feedback is coming from your phone because I can hear it, but it's delayed. So if you mute while I'm talking, it'll probably stop.
I had it on mute and they said it was still going. Is this a little better? Go ahead, Champ.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, nah, but this is just it's just wild, man, when you start to put these things into perspective because I can actually see it materializing. Now you've got big dogs, big Fortune 500 companies that used to depend on human labor to be able to do things, but now they're leveraging the technology. So it's cheaper. It's making their bottom line even way more efficient. They're spending less on human personnel and more into the technology to be able to scale, produce, become way more efficient, and they're doing every single thing that they need to do as a company. But that is a disservice to the people. The people are who matter. I don't care. I don't care what the fuck happens with all of this stuff. Truth be told, every Fortune 500 company could shut down because there's enough ingenuity and great mindsets and tools that currently exist right now that people can produce their own companies and become our own Fortune 500 companies. And we all produce, and kind of come together. We all produce better. We all spin better with the right people, right? And it's coming back to the person. It's not going into this big ass machine that just continues to make us super consumers. That shit is whack and it's super played out. Like, and I play into it. I'm guilty. I shop. You know what I mean? I buy things that I don't need all the time, right? But then it's like, yo, when you're more conscious of it, you start to really sit in a space and you start to look like, damn, you know what? What is this doing for me? This isn't serving anything but either your satisfaction in the moment. And that's when we come back to that whole popcorn generation. Everybody wants instant gratification, right? You ask a question, you want the answer immediately, right? You see something or you have a sweet tooth, you instantly want dessert. Oh, where we going to go get some cake? Where we going to get some ice cream? It's like all of this type of stuff is just killing us as a whole. And it's like if we just stop, slow down, take these things into consideration, make life a little bit more simpler, we'll just have a better overall quality of life as a whole. You know what I mean? Because people are spinning and spiraling out of control to try to keep up that instant dopamine, right? That's what they do all this stuff for. And it's like when you got cryptocurrency and you got all of these plays that's happening right now, the market's on sale. The strategy ain't for sale, but the market is. The strategy is where you come to Skyton Academy for. This is what me and Steve been doing the entire time, giving you the education, laying out the strategy for you, giving you guys context so you have a greater understanding. And when you have that understanding, that's what's literally giving you the knack, if you will, to make the greatest decision that you could ever make. And this shit just is just so simple. But you know what happens? people psych themselves out because the first thing you start thinking about is not the strategy. You start thinking about how am I going to spend the profits from this, right? I got to buy a bigger house. I got to buy a better car. I got to do X, Y, and Z. And then now you're right back to being a fucking consumer. Excuse my language. You're just consistently on that hamster wheel. So until you actually start to sit with yourself and start to retool yourself, start to assess things, it's like, yo, here's what I do, right? I just started doing this, and this really helped me out. Before you do anything, before you spend $8, right, of your hard-earned money, it doesn't matter where you get it from. I don't care if you own a business, if you work in 9 to 5, it doesn't matter. Before you do anything and you go to spend $1, ask yourself, why do I need this? What is this for? What is the purpose of this? And then every single time you ask that, you mute it.
That's too many questions. You know what I ask myself when I'm in the store? I'd be like, yo, how much XRP can I get for that price?
Go. That's where I was
How
going.
much H bar? I'm telling you, that's my unit of measure.
That's it.
And if y'all don't hear what I'm saying, y'all might want to read in between the lines. And this ain't financial advice, but this is what I tell myself. So I'm just telling you guys a real story. How much V chain can I get for that? How much H bar can I get for that? Y'all hearing me?
Let's go.
XRP a little wacky now, man. It's definitely like it went up from what I used to buy it at.
For
But
sure.
you know, you're not getting the same amount. So this is my man Kurt. If he's on here, you know, he rocks us with that opportunity cost. Today's price is not tomorrow's price, guys. I'm telling you. So when you get inside the academy, there were some people that asked. I don't think we got chat functionalities in here, but it is skytonacademy.com.
Yep.
SKYTON academy.com. All one word. $50 a month. All right. On the walk-in, you're getting access to catalogs. I mean, like joints, none but hit records in there.
Straight up.
Training courses, video, PDFs, quizzes to make sure that it's actually you're retaining the information. You got to get the strong foundational understanding of it. This ain't about meme coins. This ain't about like trading to make a gazillion dollars. Like get the foundation first, right?
Yep.
And the premise of it was really built off, the understanding that my parents didn't know what was happening during the internet, the tech boom in the 90s. So I grew up as a child not really realizing how the world was changing around me because I was too young for that. So I said, I'm not going to make the mistakes of the past. When I saw emerging tech, and it's the first time in history that, outside of like gold turning to, fiat, taking over gold and getting off the gold standard, now we're headed back to the gold standard where everything has to be backed by assets. Everything's going to be tokenized. So today, you can literally invest in anything around the world, any sort of asset class digitally.
Yeah.
I'm still a hard asset tangible guy. We've been telling you about gold for over 3 years now. The price was well under 1,400. Now you see where the price of gold is. Anytime there's panic inside the stock market, and you guys got to understand, the panic is really with the retail investors. The guys at the top, they don't panic. They just, it's more uncertainty for them, and they know how to move the money. So they go into the bond market. And then from the bond market, then that's when the federal government has enough money to fully execute what they need to do, right? And what's happening is Trump and them, his administration, basically inherited the refinance job. So if he refinanced at the rate that we have now, it's the dumbest move ever. If he tries to purchase bonds at the rate now and not find a way to discount it. So even with the Biden administration, how soon y'all forget? Like, listen, they needed job losses. They needed to create higher gas prices. They needed us to stop. Inflation is nothing more than taking money back from citizens.
Yeah.
What he did was he doubled down on the shit and he went after the trade deficit at the same time. So he's still really doing the same thing that was done before. You're just going to have a lot more job losses. There's going to be a lot more blood in the streets with this one. But when you look at some of the best rainbows come, right after a storm.
Yep.
So now it's a matter of, were you positioned well enough in this digital economy? Because that's the thing. I don't care what financial guy's been talking lately. I've been listening to a lot of them. And if they don't have that digital piece, their math just doesn't make sense because they don't understand that he's tokenizing the bond market to buy Bitcoin. They don't understand that everything's going to be tokenized. They don't understand that the factories are not going to have people like the old factories. They're just going to be part of the superpower that's going to be able to create. So that means we can get back into tooling too.
Yeah.
We can invest in robots and tooling and start creating products for cars. whether it be the doorknob or the whatever it is. Every single one of those parts is made by somebody. So imagine you only have to ship it via Amazon or whatever the next thing is going to be to make it cheaper and faster. You think they're gonna wait for this thing to get in on a boat from a port?
Hell no.
Come on, man. So you telling me that we can't compete and get into all these markets? That's what the academy is about. Not only giving you the knowledge in that, but then like saying, you know what? Let's line up because we see what they're doing. And if everybody wants to be half sleep, then shit, we're the first investors in the future of warehousing, in the future of assembly lines. While
Yeah.
these other guys keep thinking that you're going to be with a pitchfork and axe with a light over your head, looking for something in the ground. Like, no,
Yeah.
that's not where it's at. Yeah, you're going to need some humans, highly skilled, that's going to effectively do whatever. But once we put all the capital together, what industry can't we go into to disrupt right now at this point? To
So
go
now,
ahead and
yeah,
sell car parts back to, I mean, we could even create our own vehicles at this point
real talk.
and make them a whole lot cheaper than China. It's not human labor making those cars anymore.
Yeah.
Yo, we gotta get back to like we gotta get back to that hustler spirit, right? There was a crew of the past when they went through that depression, they didn't like lay down. Most people did, and the ones that did, you know what they did? They went out the west, they went here, they went to the places where things were being built.
And they put their stake in. Yep.
History always repeats itself. So if we're gonna focus on Trump and Elon Musk and this, you're missing the entire show. You're missing it because I don't care what decisions they make, whether it's Trump, Kamala, Biden, Obama. It doesn't matter what decisions they make. You still have to figure out how to pivot based on whatever the play is in the moment. If you're really a true capitalist,
Yeah.
I'm only really playing this game so I can go lay low. I'll be honest with you. I'm not looking to be like a tycoon in this shit. Like we've taught, we're positioning ourselves, and I'm looking to turn that stuff into like real assets fast. Because that stuff is digital. We see the shit today, and then you look in your wallet, that shit gone tomorrow. Like nobody knows what's happening, and it's still digital.
Yeah.
I don't come from that era, so all this digital will be converted to assets. And I'm not talking about like what you may think an asset is. Oh, you can buy real estate. It's going to look a lot different on this next iteration of where I'm trying to go. I want to build places where people come together, people could disconnect from the world. What would somebody charge to disconnect from a smart city?
Oh man, bro, that's truly priceless.
Right? To eat real food, not printed food. Don't worry about it, guys. Cost of food is going to get cheap. You can buy a home printer. They're going to send you some cartridges with some ink in it, and then you can make steak. And I promise you, these tech guys are the absolute worst type of individuals you can meet. They get no buns. They just don't care about human life.
Real talk.
It's just pure profit and just insanity. Evil geniuses. But on the flip side of it, like I said, there's going to be some real shit to come out of here. So when you lose your job, you got to find your purpose because you identifying yourself by what you do, not what you offer or what you can offer. So maybe the world changes. Maybe you don't change and you stay on universal basic income, and every other week you got to get shot up with something. I don't know. Just a thought. Why would they make you put something in your body that you don't want to put in your body? Why would they do that? Don't be dumb. Them boys is wicked. You think
Straight.
YouTube would keep this up? This certain word, we got to figure out what the we
What
got
the
to your champ. You got to read it because I don't do all that deep reading shit.
Yeah. You gotta figure out what's the words, what's the lines we can't cross.
Terms and conditions. Yeah, yeah. Hurry up because I'm ready to unload. Get through the reading. Yeah, listen, I appreciate y'all. Shit, we made some coins. That's not even enough for a haircut right now, but
Nah, but it's cool though that you know what I mean. Like this is listen in real time. I don't even know if you guys are truly experiencing this, but if you're paying attention, this is Web3. This is the next iteration of the future of how we are going to connect with one another. People are utilizing technology to be able to pour value in. People can incentivize you, tip bots, all that. Right? Education don't look the same as it used to. And it's definitely not being taught by the same players that it used to be taught by. We a whole lot different. Yeah, we a whole lot special. The cloth talk on this side is way different. Like you gonna definitely leave better than you came on this side.
And listen, so this conversation right here, every Wednesday we have a Dot Connect Wednesday series. So it pretty much we just pick topics and we lay it out, and it's all on our YouTube page. So if you guys are new here, Barbados, big shout out to Barbados.
Shout out.
Yeah, nah, this is it. I think we good. I don't want to go an hour on this thing.
Yeah, nah, that's what's up.
Yeah, let's you got any closing for them?
Nah,
Buy
man.
Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin.
All jokes. Nah,
What's
but
Bitcoin stand for?
beta test coin, and that's exactly what it is.
Okay.
Yep, it doesn't do
Sounds
anything.
about right.
Yo,
Now, honestly, before you go buy Bitcoin, just go buy some of them iPhones and keep them in a tuck. Trust me, price of them shit's gonna be going up.
you think
I want to get back to the hustling.
you think they're gonna stay its course? You think midnight is going down, or you think they're gonna shake? They're gonna
No,
shake.
it's going down, but they got to figure this thing out, man. This thing getting out of hand.
Yeah,
They rely on our spending, though. That's the other thing,
for sure.
because there's no way that people are gonna pay those numbers. So at the end of the day, this is part of getting back with yourself. Like, listen, there's a lot of stuff I'm not buying, not just because of the price, just because the shit is killing you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you start looking at most of the decisions that we make is always based on convenience, and none of that shit is good for us.
Man,
I don't want nothing made in China.
real talk.
They have listen. I used to do business with China. I've been out there on business. They have no. You got to help me with this word. Efficacy, right?
What ethics? Like ethical, but there's
Like
a term you're trying to use. I just want to make sure I'm catching it right. But
you
I know
catching it? Yeah, that word. Those guys. Listen, there was a time they were putting poison in baby formula to bring
oh,
down the birth rate.
oh,
Now those guys are wicked. You have a certain amount of kids that you like. They still operating like real weird. So you don't really want what they're selling, especially when it comes down to like food.
food. I was just about to say that. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
you don't want that thing imported from there. But then you got to be careful because they sending it to other countries and then backdooring it back here. Like, listen, this is the time for us to get in farming. When you go back to the Great Depression, where guys asked like, what was the number one thing that was uh, the number one investment? It was like, listen, anybody that was selling food, that people eat out of your hands.
That was
And you
it.
kind of see where we're going with it.
Yeah.
We get back to farming, utilizing AI and automation in farming. Like it can work together,
Yeah.
right? They can definitely work together because this is just what the technology is there for. It doesn't have to like disrupt shit, left and right. But if you pushing the same paper every goddamn day at your job, like, come on, man.
Redundant, repetitive.
I mean, not even if your job wasn't even at stake, just like, what are you worth?
Oh man, that's a good question.
So before we exit, if you had unlimited amount of money, would you be doing what you're doing today? And what I want you guys to do is come back to this video, share it with some people, like, follow, subscribe. That's what they say.
Yep.
I sound like these dudes now.
Yeah, you're
I
YouTube.
got to
You're
get out
official.
this world, man. I
You're official.
can't. Nah, I can't do this. But listen, just go back to the comments and just put like, what would you do? And that we'll title it that. What would you do if you didn't have to work for money? Would you do the things you're doing today? Enjoy that baseball game. Oh, I love it. Baseball is like one of my favorite pastimes. Like sports, like to play, not watch on TV now.
Yeah.
None of my kids played that thing.
Dennis, he's an Academy member too. Yeah, now that's what's up, man. Appreciate y'all out there. Big shout out
All
there.
right. Take us out, man.
Listen, man, SkytonAcademy.com. That's the place that you guys need to go to. Hit enroll. Comes out to $1.67 a day, man. It's cheaper than a bottle of water, but what you're getting is critical level.
Bottle of water?
Bottle of water. It's cheaper than a bottle of water. Official. I checked.
Wow.
That's
That's where we at.
That's where we at.
And by the morning, we're cooked. Because they don't have to raise the prices. The shit's on the counter. It's everything that's coming in retro. But
Yep.
everybody's Everybody's gonna get in on this money grab.
Real
So
talk.
listen, if you don't buy it, guess what they have to do? Price has to come down. Straight up. Just hold the line, man. Just drink some water, go buy some key limes, squeeze that thing in there, leave the juice and soda alone. Watch what happens. They gonna come looking for y'all. Y'all, I'm out.
Big love. Good work, bro.
Good work.